Good day, everyone. Welcome to Real Conservative News. I'm your host, Nathaniel Rajkumar. Starting off locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. A month after police shot and killed Joshua Samaroo after a high-speed chase that started in Maloney and ended in St. Augustine, Police Commissioner Allister Guevarro has confirmed that investigators in the matter have met with officials from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, in what he described as an initial meeting. Yeah, I want to see where that meeting goes from there. Samaroo was shot and killed by police on January 20th after officers pursued the vehicle he was driving in from Maloney. During the chase, police claimed they were shot at by him and returned fire. However, video footage does not show that. It shows that the security camera footage of the incident, which surfaced on social media, showed police shooting Samaroo while he tried to surrender after his car crashed in St. Augustine. The man had his hands up in the air, people. Now, of course, they're still claiming that he was trying to shoot at them before, but that still does not change the fact that he had his hands in the air and surrendered. If you're pursuing someone and they surrender, you don't have the rights to still take their life. My response, and there's no evidence showing anyhow you take it, that he was shooting at the officers at any point in time. My response, let's just hope that the officers who are investigating this tragedy, I will never understand how police could be investigating police, will provide the DPP with sufficient evidence which will result in charges being laid against the perpetrators. Hopefully the prosecutor won't be absent during the trial or errors. You know, once a police cases it's a police case, a lot of times errors just suddenly occur, which will cause the case to be thrown out. Laws need to be changed to ensure that the Police Complaints Authority is given increased investigative powers, the PCA people, to ensure that an independent and thorough investigation is conducted outside of the police service. So no one, even Gary Griffith said that, no high-ranking officer could say, no, that's my batch, leave them alone. It cannot happen because it's an independent body that will be investigating or conducting the investigation. Don't go anywhere, people. There's a lot more local, regional, and international news to discuss. Prime Minister Kamala Persad has dismissed concerns surrounding the U.S.-supplied radar system at the A&R Robinson International Airport, saying only the Opposition People's National Movement, PNM, and criminal elements obsessed with the issue. And she's 100% correct. Why would citizens be against having something that could protect our territory? The issue resurfaced during Thursday's post-cabinet media briefing when Defense Minister Wayne Sturge defended the government's position on using the radar and refused to disclose the number of U.S. personnel in the country, challenging assertions that citizens had a right to such information. We have a right to a lot of information, people, but not confidential information. My response, in spite of significant errors being made by the Kamala Persad administration when pertaining to taxes, fees, and fines that are being doubled and increased and so forth, and of course, Minister of Homeland Security, who needs to be removed from his position and placed in another ministry. Despite those errors, I will always continue to commend the Prime Minister for making the wise and tough decision to stand boldly with our American allies. We need their protection, people, and they're also our largest trading partner. I will never understand why PNM and so many other socialist leaders reject Western civilization, laws, and principles. And in spite of that, people, they exercise their democratic rights on a daily basis. They enjoy the freedom that is provided under Western civilization. And yet, they still reject it in principle and in public. Bear in mind that classified or sensitive information, people, cannot be disclosed to the media or the mass population, people. You have to understand that. We have rights to a lot of information, but not to classified information. And if our American allies said, we do not want the number of our soldiers in your country being disclosed to the public, then we have to comply. That is important. It's all about diplomacy as well, people. Regional news up next. Residents of Rupati and Maruranu, Region 9 in Guyana, will soon benefit from 2 kilometers of upgraded internal roads, enhancing mobility, safety, and connectivity. And all this good is being done after an election, people, not before any elections. Irfan Ali already won his election campaign with the PPP Civic in an overwhelming way, most of the seats, and therefore he has nothing to prove. But he actually enjoys serving the people and developing his country. In Rupati, a $144.9 million project launched in June 2025 is nearing completion, featuring 1 kilometer of asphalt road with drainage and markings. In Maruranu, a $181.1 million rehabilitation project is advancing, with paving underway on 1 kilometer of asphalt roadway to improve community access. And also, in Guyana, they do a lot of constructing of concrete roads as well, and we need that here in Trinidad and Tobago in certain areas. But for some reason or the other, the asphalt just does not stay in certain places. Like, I will always use this example. Right at the corner of Lindsay and Gilk Street here in San Grande, there's a little area that we call the swimming pool, the pothole swimming pool. It's extremely large, damages people's vehicles all the time. And no matter how many times you patch there, you pave there, within about 6 months, there's a huge pothole again. They need to dig out that whole area, drain it out properly, and construct a proper casting with concrete, and then probably cover it with asphalt. The Mocha and Diamond Grove Day Night Care and Early Childhood Development Centers on the east bank of Demerara, Guyana, will soon open their doors, offering a safe, modern, and nurturing space for infants and toddlers. I mean, it's really wonderful. It's really inspiring to see the type of development taking place in Guyana. The whole Caribbean, including here in Trinidad and Tobago, always basically looked at Guyana in a certain type of way for many, many, many years, even while I was a child growing up. These state-of-the-art facilities will support early learning and development while giving parents the time and peace of mind to work and contribute to their families' economic well-being. Senators on both sides of the political divide in Jamaica locked horns over a timeline for eliminating the asset tax paid by financial institutions, which should have been phased out about a decade ago. Well, Andrew Holness has been in office for about a decade now. I think it's 2 terms. I think this is his 3rd consecutive term. And right about now, even though he didn't implement any new taxes for the past 10 years, all of a sudden now he's trying to use that socialist type of method in order to generate revenue. In his contribution to the debate, Opposition Senator Ramon Small Ferguson urged the government to outline a clear plan of how it intends to phase out this disproportionate asset tax. President of Barbados, Jeffrey Bostic, has revealed that his decision to appoint Ryan Walters and Karina Goodridge as opposition senators came only after hours of late-night deliberation and a careful review of candidates from several political groups amid the continuing absence of a formal parliamentary opposition there in Barbados, because it seems as though the whole Bajan community loves their Prime Minister and Mia Mottley, and therefore they just continue not giving any other political parties a chance even to have an opposition. I mean, I rejoiced when right there in Tobago, Farley won all the seats. But basically, yes, if you want to have a healthy democracy, you definitely need to have an opposition. Exuma, Bahamas. Residents packed a classroom at L.N. Coakley High School on Friday for a town hall meeting on the $200 million Rosewood Exuma Resort project set for East Sampson Cay in the Exumas. Ground was broken last September for the resort, which is scheduled to open in 2028, But residents and business owners are still not convinced that this is what's best for the exhumer case. The resort is set to have 33 bungalows, 40 residences, and a range of amenities, but noted environmentalist Eric Carey described it as monstrous, destructive, and unprecedented. The resort's principal, Delip McLean, also responded to those comments and questions. McLean compares the acres of dredging for Rosewood Exhumer to other developments currently underway in Bahamas. Yes, I've expanded the regional news segments, and therefore a lot more. I'm covering news from a lot more islands in the Caribbean. Closing off now with the interesting facts segment. An amateur scuba diver named Shlomi Katzin was exploring the waters off the Carmel coast in northern Israel when he made an unbelievable historic discovery. Lying on the seabed, just about 15 feet below the surface, was a massive iron sword dating back roughly 900 years ago to the Crusader period. The weapon, which features a 3-foot-long blade, 3 feet long, and a 1-foot hilt, had been hidden for centuries before shifting underwater sands finally revealed it. Experts at the Israel Antiquities Authority believe the sword belonged to a Crusader knight who either dropped it during a naval battle or fell overboard while sailing to the Holy Land. Because it was buried under a deep layer of sand in a low oxygen environment, the thick coating of the shells, stones, and marine life acted like a natural glue that prevented the iron from rusting away, preserving the weapon in extraordinary condition. Folks, that brings us to the end of today's news report. Thanks again to everyone who continues to support my content. You can continue to do so by liking, commenting, and sharing. Stay blessed and stay safe most of all. In Jesus' name.